Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a topic that's really at the heart of a Muslim woman's daily life, the fiqh, or the Islamic guidance for her worship. We're going to go beyond just the rules and really dig into the why, so we can transform our everyday actions into really conscious, meaningful acts of devotion. Let's get into it.
So, let's start with a question I'm pretty sure almost every single one of us has asked at some point. You might have asked your mom or an auntie, and the answer was probably something like, well, because, But that answer, it doesn't always sit right with the heart, does it? Especially now, when we're all about seeking knowledge. This question right here is the perfect place for us to start our journey.
And this slide, this really gets to the heart of it. It lays out the two paths we can take. Over on the left, you've got inherited tradition. Just doing things because that's how they've always been done. But on the right, that's where the magic happens. Informed servitude. It's the huge difference between not praying because you have to and not praying because you are consciously and lovingly submitting to a command from God. It's a submission that comes from knowledge, not just from habit.
But look, this isn't just about feeling more spiritually connected, as great as that is. Understanding these specific rulings is actually a fundamental duty. It's not just a nice little extra. No, it's absolutely crucial for our most important acts of worship to even be considered valid in the first place.
And that brings us to this really important Islamic term, fard ayn. What does that mean? It means it's an individual duty. This is not something you can outsource to your dad, or your husband, or the local imam. Nope. The responsibility to learn how to pray the right way, how to fast correctly, and how to maintain purity, that falls directly on each and every one of us. It's personal.
And let's be real, in this day and age with knowledge literally at our fingertips, it's on our phones, our laptops, saying, oh, I just didn't know, isn't really a valid excuse anymore. We're actually held accountable for seeking out the knowledge we need to worship Allah properly. And that's a pretty profound responsibility. Just take a second and let that sink in. A private meeting with our Creator, where we'll be asked about the effort we put in to learn. Now, listen, this isn't meant to be scary. It's actually the opposite. It's empowering. It's basically a call to action for every single one of us to take ownership of our faith. Okay, so we've established the why this is so important. Now let's switch gears and talk about the how. How does having this knowledge actually practically help us navigate all the little complexities of our worship and bring some real clarity to the confusion? Check this out. This table is a perfect example of why this specific knowledge matters so much. See how, depending on which school of thought you follow, your madhab, the longest your period could be is either 10 days or 15 days. Any bleeding after that is considered irregular, and guess what? You have to start praying again. Without knowing this, you could so easily be missing prayers you're supposed to be doing or praying when you shouldn't be. See, this is how knowledge gives you clarity.
And that clarity makes everything easier. For instance, knowing that your prayers are completely waived, but your fasts have to be made up later. That's such a specific mercy from Allah. Or understanding that while you can't touch the physical Quran, you can still read from an app on your phone. Or that you can do almost all the rituals of Hajj, except for the tawaf around the Kaaba. That is so liberating. It proves this isn't a time off from worship, it's just a different kind of worship.
And just to make this super practical, here is a clear, actionable takeaway for you. This is the Sunnah method for ghusl, the ritual bath that brings us back into a state of purity. It all starts with your intention, and then you just follow these beautiful, simple steps. This is the kind of knowledge you can literally use today.
All right, now we're going to take this to a whole new level. We've talked about the rules for our acts of worship, but what if I told you that with the right knowledge, almost every single part of your day, even the boring, mundane stuff, could actually become an act of worship? The secret key that unlocks this superpower is a concept called niyyah, or intention. This right here, this is the powerhouse of our faith. It's that silent little conversation you have in your heart that dedicates whatever you're doing to Allah. And this simple internal shift can turn the most boring habit into a rewarded act of worship. It's incredible. Okay, think about something we do all the time. Cooking a meal, right? It can feel like such a chore sometimes. Just another thing to tick off the to-do list. An action that doesn't feel very spiritual at all. But then, with just a tiny shift in your heart, that whole thing gets transformed. The moment you start cooking with the intention of, say, nourishing your family for the sake of Allah, or making a fellow Muslim feel cared for, you've just turned your kitchen into a place of worship. And the most beautiful part is that it can be as simple as this.
Before you start anything, I mean anything, studying for an exam, driving your kids to school, cooking that dinner, just take 1 second and say in your heart, Ya Allah, this is for you. Just try it, and then watch how it changes everything.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to reflect on. As you go about your day, as you do your prayers, and even as you tackle your daily chores, just ask yourself this. Is this an act of habit? Or is this a conscious act of intention? The journey to a truly meaningful life of worship, it starts right there, with the honest answer to that question. Thanks for exploring all this with me.